am here. Okay. Give me a sec. Oh, goodness. Really gotta get myself situated here. Okay. Ahem. Hello. Welcome to the cafe. As always, I'm your host, Dr. Lampwick. It's good to see everybody here. Decaf, welcome. Welcome. This is going to be an interesting stream. It might be super lame and boring. If it is, I'll probably try and do something else. But it probably won't be a super long stream just because I have some family stuff tonight that also has some priority. So, yes, we're going to try it out. We're going to see. Just see about it. Really not sure about this one. I mean, I've done like a map making stream before, but I don't. I remember it being fairly fun. I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna be trying some new things today because I gotta branch out every now and then. Ah, hello, Jen. Welcome in. We got something that I don't normally do, but maybe if this stream ends up being fun, it will become more normal. Happy Friday to you as well, sir. I hope you are well and that things are going well in your life. Also, being called a cherished friend along with Decaf is wonderful. Thank you. That really brightened my day. Not that I'm having a bad day, just that made it better. I think you hear the trash truck, so if you hear any crashing and banging sounds, it's probably that. Or my roof fell in. Oh my goodness. So, one announcement, and I hadn't even thought about this until just now. Next week is VBS week for me and my wife at our church. So, to be completely honest, I am not sure if I will stream. I have some streams scheduled because I didn't think about it. I should be able to still stream, but I'm going to have to think about that and see how tired I am after each VBS day. I don't have a ton of responsibilities at VBS, but it's still quite the commitment. So we shall see. It shouldn't change anything, but if there are any changes, it will be due to that, and I'll announce it on my Twitter and everything like that, and my YouTube posts. I should probably use my Instagram more, but I don't know what to put on there. It doesn't seem like the place for my whimsy posting like Twitter is. And I don't do like art and stuff. Not yet, at least. On a regular basis. So I'm not sure. I can make more coffee content and put it on Instagram, but you can only make a latte so many times and have people find it entertaining, I think. I don't know. Every once in a while, of course, I'll still do it. And once I can get a few more elements for my coffee setup, which I'm currently unable to obtain, then I can start learning to make other drinks as well, which I've been meaning to do for a while. Life gets in the way, but so it is. I have responsibilities that must be addressed. So I'm not mad about it. It's just considerations I must make. I have had to make significant efforts not to dox myself or anyone in my life. But hopefully we should have all of the we should have a decent amount of safeguards up in order to not do that while I'm working on my notes. And the map making should just be fine. There shouldn't be any issues with that. We shall see if all of this works out okay. I'm really, really unsure about it, if you can't tell. I forgot to turn on my fan. Give me a second. Okay. I'm not really certain how long I want to chat before actually getting in on the stuff. This is going to be a pretty low stimulation, low cortisol stream, I would think. So if you're here for some high octane stuff, you ain't going to get it. But if you're here for a more chill experience, you'll probably get that instead. Good. Good. I do love to hear that. I'm going to have to give myself my coffee cup. I've got so many ideas for different things that I want to like do and get into, but I only have a certain amount of time and energy. Energy's a big one for me. So I have to be a bit selective about what I give my time to, and some stuff is just not going to work out and end up getting dropped, and that's, it is what it is. I'm not usually super affected by that. Sometimes it can get to me, but I've had to drop enough things in my life that it is, kind of is what it is. It is what it is. Do 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 do. There we go. I'm a little T-Rex now. I'm so close to reaching 50. I really, really want to push for that, honestly. But like I said last stream, it feels scummy to mention it. So I generally don't. I don't know. I'm not a good salesperson. I really can't sell something to someone that they, really don't want. So that includes selling myself. So I tend to sell myself short. Is the reality. Oy, 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 oy. Let me check something real quick, Lack. Check in on something real quick, Lack. Okay, good. I had to make sure that my scheduled Twitter post about my about my whatchamacallit. My stream today actually went up. I just don't trust stuff, to be honest. I don't trust it. All right. So the goal today is mainly making the map for the setting of my next campaign with my group, my D&D group. So that's the main goal, but I'm going to be looking at some of my session notes and what I have prepared to give like a background on the setting, and you know, that way if people want to actually like chime in and help me make the map, they'll have like context for what it is meant to be and what portions we need to have and all that, what landmarks and different things. So in a little bit I will go up to the lounge and we'll look at the notes, and from there we'll figure out the map. Let's see. While I am in the cafe, I am going to do one last check to make sure that. Hey, Elijah, welcome in. I'm going to be doing something interesting today. Okay, I think everything is censored that needs to be censored, and everything else is just as is, I believe. Okay, good. How are you doing, Elijah? It's going all right. It's going all right. Nothing to really complain about at the moment. I've been having some rough nights of sleep, but it's fine. I will recover. Homemade mac and cheese, bless. That's some good stuff. I suppose I could have made myself mac and cheese for lunch, but with how I've been feeling lately, I wanted to make something that was going to be better for my health, so I ended up having a smoothie for lunch, which was fine. Nothing to write home about, I guess. I'm going to try. My wife and I, unfortunately, have been getting to sleep super late because of VBS prep. But after next week, well, after this upcoming week, that will be all done with. So I'm looking forward to that, to be honest. Yeah, I've seen you posting some of your smoothies that you've made on the Discord. Speaking of that, I'd like to have a Discord, but honestly, since so many of the people that watch me are in like other people's communities and other people's community Discords, I don't want to make people join like another Discord that they're really never going to interact in. I get that, like, you know, you spread people too thin, and it just they never interact, because it's like, well, why would I interact in this when, I know I can interact with all the same people over here, which makes sense to me. Well, I recently, because I had to switch to having a smoothie as a meal replacement for at least one of my meals during the day, um, for health reasons a little while back, I finally got a good blender, and that just does that just does everything I need. Yeah, and then you have to make sure you have like moderation and stuff because I don't have the time or energy to moderate it myself. And that just right now that's just not in the cards. So maybe down the line, maybe if I had a more like um a more active community, I guess. Not that you guys are inactive. That's not what I'm saying. Just like a wider community, I guess, who would want to actually like um you know, have their own space rather than just being spread out in a bunch of other spaces that I'm also in. Or if there was something unique about my streams or my community that needed its own space in order to thrive. If there was something like that, then I would consider it. But for now, I'm still really just starting out, still building that community. Yeah, for sure. And it's just like I said, there's really just no point to it right now. It'd just be a lot of extra stress for me and a lot of extra work. Um, and there's really no point to it at the moment. Like I said, I'd have to have a much more established and larger viewer base before I think it would be necessary and or worthwhile. And don't get me wrong, I'm entirely grateful with the small community I've built so far. Um, and the harsh reality of it is I may never grow beyond that, and that's okay with me. I do this mainly for fun. Um, if God takes it somewhere else, I'm gonna follow him. But for now, I'm where I'm at, and I'm just gonna do my best. Oh goodness. Sorry. Ah. I gotta start working out again. I got myself a workout plan. Uh, that should be fairly easy to follow. The main thing about a workout plan is that I'm not like a gym person, so like it has to be stuff I can do at home. Um, and I also need like descriptions or pictures of each exercise so I actually know how to do them. So I had to build a plan that not only I thought I could follow, but one that would actually like describe each exercise to me, so that if I forget what one specific exercise is, I can always just reference the plan. Yeah. I'm not saying never. I just don't know. I don't know is the reality. Cuz I'm not looking at this as though um I'm not looking at this as though there's any guarantee, because honestly, the stuff that I want to make and create can be fairly niche at times. So there's that. And then also, I'm making really low stimulation, low cortisol kind of content, and that's not really to everyone's taste. So, it's just the realities of who I am as a person, because I'm not going to change myself as a person unless it's to improve upon something that actually needs to be improved on. I'm not going to change myself as a person just to attract people who would hate me if they ever knew, hate or abandon me if they ever found my real self, you know? Which sounds really stupid, I guess, but Well, that's the thing about working out at home that, like, because I don't necessarily want to get like shredded or anything like that. I just want to be strong enough to do whatever I need to do in my day to day life. Like if my wife needs help moving a piece of furniture, I want to be strong enough to do that. If someone at church needs help moving a washer and dryer, I want to be strong enough to do that. You know, that kind of thing. I just want to be strong enough to fulfill my personal and relational responsibilities. Yeah, and I found people that do like my content the way it is, and I'm really grateful for that. You of course being one of them, Elijah. Uh, it's just that I know that right now especially does not have wide appeal, and I'm not going to change it. I'm not going to change the way I do things just to have wide appeal. That to me is just like disingenuous in a way, you know? Like I'm not playing the hottest new games. I'm playing what games I want to play. Because I'm not going to make good content if I'm not genuinely enjoying whatever I'm doing. It's going to be boring. It's going to be dull, because it's just a slog for me too, you know? Um, I'm not out here chasing the algorithm or anything like that. I'm just doing whatever I'm doing and putting it up. And if people want to see it, they can find it, you know? As I said, I'm a terrible salesperson. Speaking of which, I haven't made a whimsy post on Twitter in a couple days. I should do that. Not right now, but I should do that. That actually has been one of my favorite new things that I've been doing, is doing those little whimsy posts on Twitter. Which, other than that, Twitter is like a toxic wasteland, a la Chernobyl, which is actually less toxic now than it used to be. But Chernobyl, not Twitter, unfortunately. My whole thing with the whimsy posting on Twitter, which I don't know how to describe that, like what I'm actually doing. I would just have to bring up an example. But one of my favorite things is to like just bring a little bit of like light and joy to dark places. That's like one of my whole things, right? Twitter's a dark place. It really is. And I just want to give people a little like boost of serotonin, a little brightening of their day by just making some ridiculous, little posts that might just make them smile. Like I said, I don't know how to describe it to you. Let me see if I can bring this up without doxing anything. Let's see here. When was the last time I did it? Okay, here it is. Here's one. Oh, that's the wrong button. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to the lounge probably to show this. Let's see here. Gotta make sure I push all the right buttons so I'm not showing anything I don't want to show. So this is an example of what I mean by a whimsy post. It's literally just a little it's a little storyline, just in a little paragraph, And I try and do at least one of these a day on Twitter. Yeah, those days can be interesting, Decaf. Good luck. God bless, sir. Hopefully we will see you again soon. So yeah, this is what I'm talking about. It's just me telling a little story about the world that I'm trying to create with me as Lampwick and with, things like that. You're welcome, Decaf. Once again, God bless. And if I don't see you again, have a great weekend. And I hope that you and your family are well and get to relax some. Oh, and send me a message on Discord when you get an update about the whole job situation. Because I'm still praying about that and thinking about that. So yeah, just stuff like this. I feel like I want to bring some like light and joy to people's days, just by making stuff like this. Um, I'm not the only one that does it. This was not an original idea, but because it's a part of my brand in a way, it's a part of, once again, the story I'm trying to tell with me as Lampwick. Um, it fits in with my my different aspects of my persona and my content here. So anyway, I probably will stick around in this room for the moment, because this is where I'm going to be looking at my notes. Well, no, I'll go back because that screen doesn't have the stream avatars right now. So I'll go back there whenever I'm starting the D&D stuff. Does that give you an idea of what I was talking about, Elijah? That's just like one example. Like I said, I've been doing that daily for probably about a month now. So I've got a bunch of them just floating around. Now, I would never encourage someone to get on Twitter just to follow me. So my hope is once I can get a website, that's kind of in the works behind the scenes, but I'm not sure what that's going to look like yet. If I can get myself a website, I'm going to start putting my whimsy posts on the website as well, so that people can read them without having to go to Twitter. And I'm also going to be putting up some like short stories that I'm going to just put up there for free for people to read so they can get acquainted with like my writing. That doesn't really have to do with stream, so to speak. Ooh, what kind of website, Jen? Yeah, and it's really been actually a lot of fun to make those. And yeah, I've been having a good time with it. Hold on. I'm going to step away from the mic for just a second. I got to check my phone. I'm waiting on a package, so. Dude, that's sick. Bro, as soon as you get that up, I want to bookmark it and follow it. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I'm back. I don't know what the time frame is on me getting a website live, but I'm in talks with someone who wants to help me. So hopefully, once I'm a little freer after VBS is done, um, we can have a meeting about that. But for the time being, it's kind of stalled on hold. I may have to pause for a second. Not pause the stream, but go to my break screen because I don't know why, but one of my trash bins is like overturned in my yard, and I know it's empty because they picked it up this morning, but I just I want to make sure it's not damaged because I don't know why it would be there. So that's gonna take. It'll take less than 10 minutes, but I'll be right back. BRB, everybody. Heyo, I'm back. Bundle of cats, welcome in. Give me a sec. Sorry, I had to deal with my trash bins. Yeah, I think Decaf had to step away for a minute, but he might be back. I'm not sure. He was still at work. Welcome in. I saw that you followed me. I'm grateful for that. Thank you. Sorry, I was kind of rushing to get back to stream, but I really did have to deal with that. Whew. Goodness gracious. Yeah, they definitely manhandled my trash bin, but they didn't. I don't think they did any damage to it that wasn't already done, so. Okay. So I keep my phone is plugged in behind me in the office, my office, and it's plugged in back there because I do not have any open outlets over here on the computer side of the room because both me and my wife have our computers set up over here. So I wouldn't usually charge my phone in the middle of the day, but I've got stuff to do this evening that will take me out of the house, so I want it charged. Because I do try and think about things like that. Oh, and if you need to lurk, there is a lurk command. Um, I don't have a commands command that like pulls up all of my commands, but it should just be exclamation point lurk. I'm pretty sure I have it set up that way. We love our lurkers here at the cafe as much as we love everyone else. All right. I'll give it about 10 more minutes and then I'll start in on the actual stuff. The stuff. I don't know. I set the stream category on just chatting because I wasn't sure what else to put it on. So I'll probably change that if it seems like whatever I'm doing is not people aren't enjoying it. I gotta breathe for a second so I don't get hiccups. Oh. I was chatting with a friend of mine. We don't live very far from each other, like less than 15 minutes away from each other, but we hardly ever see one another, and uh it's been a bit since the last time we hung out, so trying to hang out with him, but he's got a wife and kids, so it's a little difficult to schedule things sometimes. Oh man. I don't know what it was, but I was busy last night and randomly in the middle of everything, my nose just starts running like a tap. And it was a very unfortunate time for that because what we were doing is rehearsals for the Vacation Bible School play that my church is putting on. Uh, and So I'm up on stage trying to like remember my lines and stuff like that because it's our final dress rehearsal before it's time. And I'm up there just like sniffling and like I had to keep a bunch of uh Kleenexes in my pocket. And then the second we get home from rehearsal, I'm totally fine. Just goes away. I don't know what the heck it was, but just hit me slam bam boom and then gone. Without a trace. So weird. Whoa. Sometimes I mess around with stuff on my desk and then I drop it. I've been trying to do more writing lately. And what I've been doing is attempting to keep all of my stuff in one place. But I learned recently that Google is switching to an almost fully AI model. And that means that like all of the stuff in like your Google Drives and stuff like that could be used to like train AI. Welcome back, Elijah. You didn't miss much. I was rambling. But I'm talking about the writing projects I've been doing lately. So I took, because Google could potentially use all of the stuff on your Google Drive to train AI, I took all of my like writing projects, my personal writing projects, off of Google Drive, and I'm back to analog for storage and updating on those, which is less convenient, of course, but I feel better about it. So now I have a thumb drive with all my stuff on it. I have actually multiple thumb drives with all my stuff on it. But I have a thumb drive that if I want to update something, I literally just pop the thumb drive in to my main PC or my laptop, open up the file where all of the stuff is, and just edit it directly in the thumb drive, so that I don't have to like keep dragging and dropping. I don't have to keep updating it. I can just update it directly in the thumb drive. I don't know. And this was just something I heard, but I would not put it past Google to do that. Because Google Drive is a free service, I wouldn't put it past them to be like, oh, well, you're using our free service, so, it really stands to reason that we can do this, basically. But anyway, so I've gotten a lot of my, I've had to like go through a bunch of my files to find the most updated version of every single project I've been working on over the past like 10 years or longer, and make sure it's all on this thumb drive. So now that that's all compiled, I should be able to just work on it whenever and wherever, theoretically. But I've actually been able to get a lot done. Yeah, I haven't fully cut myself loose. As you'll see, I still use Google Drives for some things. But like all my D&D notes are on Google Drive. But I don't care so much about those. But for my personal projects that I intend to publish someday as books or short stories, yeah, I definitely don't want Google getting their hands on those. Like I said, my D&D notes, I don't necessarily care as much. They're the ramblings of a madman anyway, with barely any formatting or anything to speak of, as you will see. So, not much really there. Though I do need to take I did create an entire like world for one of my previous campaigns, and while the world itself is not something I'm currently using, I do like a lot of the world building that I did, even though I'd probably scrap some of it. So I need to take that off of Google Drive. Definitely. Because I'm not currently using it for any projects. So I could pretty safely take it off of there. Hold on. I'm sorry I have to keep pausing, but I'm going to go and do a few things. Like I said, I'm waiting on some packages that are pretty important to get inside. And I'm going to go to the bathroom and wash out my cup, and then I will be right back, and we'll get into the meat and potatoes. So I'll be right back. Unfortunately, Jin, we can't go back, but we can remember. I miss it too, though. I want to get one that's actually like dynamic, but that's gonna require a lot more work and knowledge that I don't have. So maybe eventually I'll be able to do it. There we go. Okay. Okay, I had to make sure my mic was working. I don't know these days. Oh, it is supposed to rain today. Okay, good. Because I didn't water my plants because I thought it was going to rain. And it wasn't really looking like it was going to rain. And the forecast at least is telling me it's going to rain. So we'll see. Of course, that could be like 2 minutes of rain, or it could be like it's going to rain all night. Who knows? Ow. What the heck? I was scratching my nose and it hurt. Yeah, my garden is suffering a little bit right now because I haven't been taking care of it like I should. Unfortunately, caring for my body has been a bit more high priority recently. But I'm getting back to the point where I'm strong enough to worry about other stuff too. So it's on my list of things I need to pick back up, and I need to whip my garden back into shape. It has been languishing without much care. So I must give up some of my free time to that. Oh. Okay. I did say I was going to get into the meat and potatoes. So we are going to go back to the lounge and see if this works. Hey, look at that. So this is something I'm testing today. We'll see if it's cool. If it's lame, then it's lame. Okay. So, I'm gonna pull this up and we'll see what that looks like. Okay. Barely see that. Zoom in. Yeah. Okay. So, this is what we got right now. Can I not adjust that? Love to be able to adjust that. That's not really what I wanted either. Okay, we'll go with that. Okay, so these are my notes of the D&D thing that I'm going to be doing with my group. Sometime this summer we'll start. I don't know. We've had session 0 and I've done some basic planning, but man, you can really see how pale my hands are. Up until very recently, I had some significant anemia, so still getting over that bit. But yeah, so this is my like basic premise and things like that. Is that readable? I don't want to be zoomed in too much, but I want it to be readable. I will explain, so you don't have to read all of this. I'm going to do a TLDR. Thank you. This was a gift from my wife, and I'm very happy with it. Yeah, and it does look kind of nice on my hand cam. Which is literally just my webcam, but put up there. Nothing special, really. We've cobbled it together, but it works. And it doesn't, I hope it doesn't show anything I don't want to show. I did test it out before this, but you know, things go wrong. This is my coffee warmer. And yeah. My setup. Which there's a bunch of stuff over here that you can't see because I cropped it, but it's a mess over here. And it's a mess up here. So I cropped it, so you can't see that. Okay, so here's the basic premise. All right. This is an interesting one, and I'll have to explain and give like some coffee reveal. My coffee's done. I finished it because I didn't want to necessarily be sipping on it while I was doing this. But my coffee warmer that I use, yeah, right here. It's still a little hot, honestly. So here's the basic premise. When I was meeting up with my group to try and decide what they wanted to do next, because what we had done before this was a Monster of the Week campaign, which is a different TTRPG, pretty differently structured than D&D, but we had a lot of fun with that. And I asked them, I gave them 2 options. Well, I gave them multiple options, but these were the 2 that they ended up choosing between. We could do more Monster of the Week because I had written more that we could do. That's my mic. I just wanted to see if the camera would pick that up. I'm having too much fun with this. Okay. So they could do more Monster of the Week, or we could switch over and do like a mini D&D campaign because they didn't want to do like a full, because we had just come off of like a full 3-year campaign. It took like 3 years to finish. They didn't want to do that. So we decided that we were going to do kind of a mini campaign, which is supposed to last like 6-ish months or so. We'll see what happens. But it's very much dependent on how often we can actually meet. We're all adults with jobs and things like that. So, stuff happens. But they decided that they wanted to do more D&D. So we had a little meeting to come up with like, what did we want the setting to be? What did we want, what did they want to do? One of my players came up with the idea to do like basically a dating show. Because here's one of the prefaces I'm going to have to make. My entire group is female. Okay? It is made up of my wife, some of her sisters, my sister, and a friend who might as well be one of my sisters. They're all women. Okay? So they thought it would be a lot of fun to do kind of a sillier campaign because my previous campaign was pretty serious. So they want to do something silly. So we came up with, okay, what if we did like a dating show? Something like The Bachelor or something like that, but in D&D, a fantasy setting. So we started to brainstorm ideas for that. And this is what I came up with. Now, my original idea, the basic premise that you see on the screen up here, this was kind of the original idea, but I reworked it because I think my new idea is better for like the overarching story. But the main focus of the like day-to-day sessions, it'll probably be a session a month is the goal. So the monthly sessions will be the dating show. So the premise is this is a dating show for adventurers to find love, basically. Because, with adventuring being your career, it's a dangerous line of work. It's hard to find a partner. It's hard to find a spouse, when you have a career like that. So this show, dating show, was created to basically help adventurers get together. So that's the basic premise. And I have a bunch of like overarching story. But it's all going to take place on this place called Heart Island. Yeah, we're not being subtle here. Not being subtle. So the original premise was that they were going to get on the island for the dating show. That they're taking part in this. They know what they're up to, basically. All of my players. They chose to be part of this dating show. So they're going to get on the island, start the show, and then some event or like disaster is going to happen. And they're basically like stuck on the island and they have to deal with stuff. I thought I didn't really like that, to be honest, when I really thought about it. This was like the session 0. I'm still trying to figure out like major things. This is like my first draft of what I came up with. I ended up not really liking that. So I changed it to be this, basically, where instead of it being like a bunch of portals are opening up to like different places, this stuff here. Now it's going to be, there's still a little bit of that. But basically while they're on the island doing, because this dating show, like I said, specifically for adventurers, so they're going to be doing like adventurer things, going to dungeons, fighting monsters and things like that, but it's all part of the dating show, right? So while doing that, they unearth like this tomb, and it's got like it's the tomb of like an ancient lich, right? And it seems like someone who's on the island is trying to revive this ancient lich. And then that's when you have like incursions from other planes, and they're going to take over certain parts of the island, and then boom, now you have the dating show, but you're stuck on the island and you're in mortal peril. So while you're doing the whole dating show thing and trying to find true love as an adventurer, you also need to be saving the world. So there's different parts of the island, and this is where we're going to get into the map making. There are different parts of the map that we need to make, right? So Heart Island is the main thing, but we need to have a jungle. We need to have like the northern coast here, and then a volcanic region. So that's the main 3 regions of the island we need to make, besides it just being like a tropical island, So that's what we're going to get into. I hope it's going to be fun. Yeah. So I've made a bunch of different stuff. This is like the show, how the show is going to work. So the mechanics of it from back behind the screen where I'm at. And there's like dates that they'll go on, and different like mini games. And I'm just gonna try and have as much fun with this as possible, and hopefully make it really fun for my players. And then different challenges you see here. I got a bunch of different stuff. You don't necessarily need to see all of that. If this stream ends up being fun for everyone, then I'll probably do stuff like this again. But anyway, so here's some of the characters, including the main love interest, the guy that everyone's going after during the dating show. This is the host/MC. Ignore this. This is for me to to play him, quote unquote. Yeah. So we've got our standard guitar bro or lute bro NPC, like the main love guy, the main love interest, this guy. And then little like little things here. And then we came up with these guys as the other love interest potentially. We'll see how that goes. But these are actually the guys that technically are like taking over parts of the island, and they need to defeat in order to save the day and get off the island, because there's a barrier surrounding it. So they're gonna have to defeat these guys, but they might also be like, we'll have to see how it all goes. But we came up with, and this was all, we worked on this together, because my players really have a lot of fun with like coming up with funny like NPCs and stuff like that. They really like that. So I gave them a lot of input into the different cast and crew. So a lot of this is actually some of their ideas that we workshopped into it. You can read that and just kind of have fun with like looking at it. And if you have any ideas for more that I could do, please bring it up. Some of these are like inside jokes, so don't worry about that. But yeah. So there's these guys, the producers, the crew, your directors, the other potential love interests slash their quarries. Yeah, these are my players. Obviously blanked out to avoid doxing anyone, but this is what they're playing, which I think is cool. Whoops, literally did the thing I shouldn't have done. That's okay. But yeah. So anyway, I've got some other notes here, but we won't necessarily get into that. Because this is just me actually starting to make the actual session notes. I need to change that. That needs to go away actually, because that's not the thing anymore. Yeah. Anyway, so that's all that, and we're gonna need to get into map making soon. But do you guys have any like thoughts or like ideas for more crew members? What do you guys think about the basic premise? You think it's cool? You think it's lame? Just let me have it, you know? And I'm just going to kind of scroll a little bit, you know, because I need to go back through all this stuff too in order to remind myself of what the heck I'm doing. But yeah. Part of the fun with some of the crew members is that they are going to be they're going to be active parts of this, right? So during combat and things like that, and like the adventures that the players are going to go on, the crew is there filming. Well, you don't have to have played D&D to have ideas. This is just creative writing. That's all it is. Anyone can have ideas. But the crew is going to be there. If the players get into combat, the crew is going to be there because they're filming this for television, right? This is a dating show. So the crew is going to be there in the action, sometimes getting in the way of the players to get like the perfect shot. Like one of my favorite characters is Lens Flare or Lenny, the camera guy. And he's like a warforged, which is like a magical construct made of like wood and metal. But he has a camera. Like he is the camera. So he's going to be like jumping into the action actively to try and get the best shots, right? And I'm going to have so much fun with that. I already have so many ideas. So these guys, they're all going to be in it with the players, you know? And the players might come to hate them by the end, but that's where part of the fun comes in. Because they helped me make these characters. So if they end up hating them at the end, it's partially their fault. But yeah, there's a few here. So we'll see if that all ends up working out. But that's like my ideas for how I'm going to like do all of this stuff. So you have Render Judgment, the Centaur MC, introducing the island and all that stuff. All right. So I'll go through some of the challenges and stuff like that. And like I said, if you guys have any ideas, just shout them out. So the show, you're going to have your interviews, of course, an absolute, you know, mainstay of dating shows as like personal interviews with like the different characters or cast members to get like their thoughts about what's happening on the island and you know, how they're feeling about different characters. If they're like, oh, I don't like this person, or I think this person is cool, but like they're my rival. So, you know, and then the main thing is going to be like the dates. You have challenge dates and romantic dates where you can win points towards like, basically like, almost like charisma points, that players can build up to like help them make headway in getting the main love interest to fall in love with them, which is going to be kind of like meta. Like these are actual stats that they're going to build up, like they would their strength or their charisma and stuff like that. And then there's going to be mini games where they get chances. All of these other things are chances for them to earn these points, basically. And then these are just ideas for the dates / mini games. These things. And these are pretty loose. Just templates for like what I could do. Yeah. So we'll see how all of this goes, but if anyone has any ideas, just chime in. Yeah, some of these are really fun, some of them are just kind of like meh, but we'll see how they end up working in the actual thing. I need to actually take a look at this too. Let's see here. Unloading and setting up their equipment. I'm just seeing where I'm at in the notes here because I'd like to tippy tap a little bit since I got my hand cam set up. Let's see. So I'm starting obviously with like some of the character interviews to like give them a chance to introduce themselves for the show and just give them a chance to like flesh out their characters by actually playing them and stuff. I think that'll be a lot of fun and it's a good way to start, I think. So I'm gonna have like the show really like get underway before I start off with this stuff, like the overarching story, so to speak. Before I get into this, I'm gonna have like it'll be like a day into the show. Where all of this pops off. So, and of course, I'm doing this episodically because it's a show that's meant to go on TV or the fantasy, whatever the fantasy equivalent of TV is. Ignore my terrible formatting. I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I do know what I'm doing because I've done it for years now, but I don't know. It's a mess. I just realized I should have some music in the background here. Hold on. Where is it? I have it going. I just can't hear it, I guess. Okay. I thought I didn't have it going. Whatever. Let's see. So, camera crew, unloading, setting up their equipment. PC interviews. PC just means player character. It's just shorthand. DM shorthand. And I'll either have them roll for I'll either have them roll for who goes first, or they can just decide amongst themselves. They're all women, so they don't usually vie for place like guys do sometimes, you know. Oh, goodness. Sorry. Woo. So sleepy right now. So there's that. So with the interviews, okay, so we start with the interviews, right? Maybe start with like a show off or a mini game, because I don't think we'll start off with a date yet, because everyone's still getting like set up. So we'll maybe start off with a mini game. What would be something that they could do on the beach? Just like a beach, like a sandcastle contest? So start off with like a. Sorry, I'm trying to keep my formatting somewhat consistent, but you know. Well, let's see, now that we've got our contestants introduced, we can begin the show. Let's see. As you can plainly see, this is me trying to play a charismatic NPC with having very low personal charisma in real life. As you can plainly see, you are surrounded by the gorgeous white sands of Heart Island's trademark beaches. So let's begin there. We are going to have the first of many little competitions. A sand castle building contest. Okay, I think that's a good way to start, because that'll get them. We'll get in on some action without just more like NPCs talking, which is kind of boring for the players if it goes on too long. So we'll get them in on something that they can actually start rolling for, and it'll also give them an opportunity to start getting points. So I think that's a good way to start. And then I'll build that out. So sand castle building contest. There we go. And I'll build this out later on. Let's make that a heading for, yeah. So there we go. A subheading for part 1. PCs have their first opportunity to impress the main love interest and earn some points with the audience. How do we want to judge this? Oop. Let's see. Castles will be judged on creativity. Creativity. Should we do size or no? Size, let's say What do you judge sandcastles on? I'm not sure. Creativity. I don't know. I want to get them like I want to get their minds working and like get them engaged. Oops. Complexity. Do that. Creativity, complexity, because that's like, you know, their technical skill. What they roll is going to determine how well they're able to do what they want. And they're going to have to come up with the concept for their sandcastles themselves as if they were actually making them. Creativity, complexity. What else? Style. That may fall under. I don't want to have too many parameters. Because I actually have to judge them, so to speak. Quality. How quality. Yeah. And what else? Let's see. Maybe I'll go with these three for now. Where is my... Yeah. Nope. There we go. We'll just go with those for now. Nope. Okay. We'll just go with those for now. Okay. With that out of the way, I'm going to switch over. I'm going to shift gears. I'm going to switch over to making map. So we are going to hide that. And I'm going to boot up my map software. Actually, I'll leave this up because I need to see which areas we need to make. So I'll have to reference that again. So let me boot that up. I may have to go to the bathroom again, to be honest. Ignore that. My map making software likes to scream at me. Okay. Go ahead and do this. Thank you. Well, you're not seeing some of the less tidy parts of it. It's actually not very tidy. You're not seeing over here, up here, and that's on purpose, Jen. Full HD, worn, yes. Okay. I'm trying to make sure I'm not doxing anything. Okay. So that's set up. I am going to real quick, like, go to break and go to the bathroom, and I'll be right back. Okay, you guys ready for some cartography? Let's go. All right. So, yoink. There we go. Okay. this is my map making software. Which we may, you know what? I'm actually gonna hold on. I'm not gonna go to the lounge for this. Give me a sec. I'm gonna go over here and see if I can't capture a specific window. Can I do this? Is that gonna work? Yeah. Okay. Here we are. Here we are. Good. 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 It doesn't. It's not full screen, but that's okay. It's just gonna have to be like this, I think. Oop. Ignore that. Yeah, there's just gonna be this bit down here. I don't know why that is. Menu. I thought I put it. Yeah, it's at 1920 by 1080. I don't know why it's. Okay, whatever. Okay. So, first thing I would normally do when creating a map is figure out the shape that I want things to be. But in this case, we actually already know that because the island is called Heart Island. Yes, I'm making maps. Welcome, Renai. Hello. I already went over my notes. But the TLDR is I'm working on stuff for my next D&D campaign with my group. They wanted to do a D&D dating show to have like a little funny campaign. And we are making a map for the main setting of the campaign, which is like Heart Island. That is what it is called. So, this map software. Thank you, Jen. You're going to get that stuck in my head. This map software has a cool feature where you can basically generate random map shapes. But I don't need to do that this time. And you have different parameters here. I'm not teaching you guys how to use this software. I like this software a lot. Okay, so I'm going to draw some coastlines here. And you guys can feel free to... I don't like that at all. You guys can feel free to hop in and give your opinions here. We're going to go with, basic heart shape and maybe some little islands, but we'll get to that. Let me up the size here. Just fill that out. And I'll make some more details and different things in a bit. I'm just making the basic landmass. So in order to keep the heart shape, I can't really go any further up. I'd like to make this river running pattern that suggests the heart is broken. Ooh, okay. Rivers don't generally run like coast to coast, though, so I'm not sure exactly how that would work. But hey, it's a fantasy setting. So anyway, we're gonna rough up the edges here of the map, the shape, because it may be a fantasy setting, but this is a real landmass in the setting. So does this look like a heart at all? What do you guys think? Okay. Granted. We'll get to rivers and stuff in a bit. But here's the basic premise. We need, let's see here. So this is a tropical island, so we need beaches, but we need three main areas of the island. We need a jungle. We need the northern coast to be mostly like beach, and then we need a volcanic region. And these do not have to necessarily make like logical sense, but I want them to, if we can, make some logical sense. So we're going to make some little islands and stuff like this, little archipelago nonsense going on, because I like that stuff. And these, I may never use these, but I think they add some stuff to the map. So now we can do some coloring. So maybe we make the northern coast, because the northern coast is supposed to be in the setting. It's supposed to eventually become like this this place where like storms are like going off, they're popping off, you know. So maybe we make the northern coast like a darker color of beach, you know, like this nonsense, this kind of nonsense. But I want like a good portion of the island to be like jungle and stuff. And in terms of distancing and things like that, I'm just gonna have to come up with that for my players, basically. So, you know, if we want to add like a jungly color, you know, like, so this is like, that's a little too bright. Honestly, I don't like that. Let's change that. So this will be like your jungle area, you know, maybe like the kind of central part of the island. Or we could split it into like quadrants, you know, like you have the northern coast, you have like the jungle area, and then you have like the volcanic area. What do you guys think? Because each area has like a story purpose for being there, right? But generally, if this was an actual island, you would have like, you know, climate zones and things like that. So let's see here. This will be like the volcanic region, you know. Frowny volcanic region. Nah, it doesn't need to be that big. I want jungle to be like the main thing. The jungle is the United States. Yeah, it kind of is, actually. It kind of is. And then the rest of this is just like beach, you know. Let's see here. I don't have any background music for this scene. Let me see if I can pull something up. Let me see. Ba-ba-ba. I don't know if any of this is like, I'll try this. More volcano on the western coast, while leaving the south more beach. No, we don't need the volcano zone to be like particularly big. We could also have the volcano at like the center of the island and have that be the volcanic zone. That's also an option. Hopefully I don't get smacked for having this music, but I guess we'll see. We'll find out. It's all right. Yeah, we don't absolutely have to have this be like this at all. So you think maybe we should put the volcano zone in the center of the island? Because that's kind of a trope, right? And the volcano zone does not necessarily... Oops, why did that happen? The volcano zone definitely does not need to be that big. Oh, you want it to be like on the east and west coasts? Okay. So let's make the jungle kind of like keep going in like that. And then have another volcanic zone kind of over here. Okay, I'm seeing you. And this is just, I'm gonna be putting like trees and actual stuff here. But yeah, this will all be, I'll have mountains and everything. We'll get into that. Okay, so we have our northern coast, which is gonna be like Storm Coast. And I'm gonna put like dark clouds over here and junk like that. but we have our main stuff here. So the players are probably going to land around like here. They're supposed to have like a villa, but then there's supposed to be like a cliff where the main like setting of the the nonsense is. And we'll see how that goes. Yeah, just little jungle islands, and then these are just basically like little desert islands. Cool. Okay. I am going to hide this for a second while I save it. Because Heart Island. Save. Okay. I don't want anyone to see my file explorer. Okay. There we go. And I'm not exactly sure how far we're going to make it on this, but we shall see. I think I want a little more jungle. I don't know that this northern coast has to be like massive. Because this is not giving you a good idea of like distances right now. This is all gonna be like pretty. This is a big island, is my thought. This is a big island. So, okay, let's think about this. So these are the main zones. And I think. Oh yeah, so we can do water. I don't know. I don't remember how lakes and rivers work. So maybe we have like a big lake here in the middle or something like that. And we have a river that like, hold on. We have a big river that like runs out of it down into the ocean like that. What do you guys think of that? Is that chill? Is that cool? Maybe we could have some just tributaries that kind of go nowhere. Distance. Something like that, you know? Heart pool. Yeah, that could be somewhere in there. Zoom in a little bit. Let's see. I can draw up the roughness a lot. So we're gonna go heart. It's kind of big, actually. I want that to even be smaller than that. You could have like a little heart here. Fill that in a little bit. It's not filling very well. Maybe have this be like a little fairy fountain or something that the players can find. Something like that. And I'll hide it underneath a bunch of trees and stuff maybe. Let's rough this bit up a little bit. There we go. Okay. All right. If my rivers suck, just tell me. Like I said, I don't know how they work. Okay, now we've got a little bit of water going on. A little bit of nonsense that we can work off of here. Oh, those look terrible. Stop. That's a little better. Okay. Anyway. Let's see now. We are going to switch gears to... If you guys have any like ideas, just let me know. For other things. So we're gonna start with some mountains. I'm gonna make some volcanoes here. And yeah, I've got some like floating islands too. That maybe I could put if you guys think that'd be cool. So I've got some mountains here, and we're just gonna start with a couple of different, just some mountain-ish regions here. And then I'll have like one main volcano, which I think I actually have. I have some volcano assets I can use, but they're under this one for some reason. They didn't get put in the mountains for some odd reason. Ooh, I need to have like a little cliff where the main villa is gonna be. So like maybe like up here. So that's where the player characters are gonna live while they're on the island. And as you can see, I got a ton of random crap here. I'm not gonna put any of that stuff at the moment. So let's see. We have to think about scale here. And try and be consistent with scale. Obviously, it's not going to work perfectly, but just try. I do want a little, like, mausoleum somewhere. Do I have a colored one? No. So let's see a little bit further into the jungle. There's going to be, like, a little mausoleum. Oh, wow. Can't see that at all. Why is that so darkly colored? This is part of the main story. Hold on for a sec. Okay. Let's see. So the main reason I need like a mausoleum or a cave or something like that, maybe a cave would be better, is because that's the kind of like main storyline here. For anyone who wasn't here when I was explaining it before, is that the characters are going to find basically this, the tomb of this ancient lich. And, yeah, the tomb of this ancient lich. And, accidentally unearth it, and it's going to cause like a major disaster. So there's that, and I'm going to hide it in trees and stuff like that, so it's not like super obvious, but it'll be unearthed within like the first session. So let's scroll down and see if we can find some volcano stuff. So I'm fairly certain I have it. Unfortunately, one of the main issues with this program is it's kind of hard to sort through all of your assets. I'm talking a lot more in this. Ooh, I've got smoke here. I need to remember that for the volcanoes. I'm talking a lot more than I usually would on stream, so my voice is giving out a little bit. Also, my stomach is hurting. I don't know. I don't really know why. Okay, let's see here. So I have all these like cliff kind of things that I can put to give like texture and different things like that. So let's say I wanted to make like I want to make some cliffs, you know, some little craggy cliffs over here on the northern plateau, maybe. Maybe make it into like a plateau. Ooh, now it's like cut off from the other zone. So then maybe I have like a little thingy over here, you know, something like that. So if you guys have any ideas that I could for cool stuff I could do with that, let me know. And then maybe, you know, maybe you have a little rise in the something over here, something like that. I don't know. I'm just playing around with it at this point. And I've got a bunch of like crags and fissures and different things like that. This is a nice promontory. Hold on. I'm gonna erase that. Go back. This is a nice promontory. I want this to be where the villa is gonna be. Yeah. That's a nice promontory. Okay. Ooh, I've got even more of these. Okay, cool. I had more of them than I thought. Okay, so yeah, I've got some volcano stuff that I can be using here. So let's make like something like this, be like a big main volcano, and then we can have like some smaller ones maybe along here. We're gonna have maybe another couple of big like main volcanoes surrounded by some smaller spouts, and then I'm gonna surround those with you know, some other mountains and stuff like that. Ooh, this is an even better cave than that one. There's that. Go back here. I'm forgetting I haven't used this program in a bit, so I'm forgetting some of the symbols and things that I have. So there's that cave, and I've got like cool obelisks and stuff like that. Got a big tree. Huge fan of big trees. Maybe have that, except it's a jungle, so that doesn't really work. But that's okay. Got a bunch of like cool little fantasy thingies. Is there one that I can make into the villa? Yeah. What if? No. I want to make something into the villa that they're gonna live at, but none of these really fit. I've got some pirate ones. Give me a sec to get down to those. So yeah, I've got some more piratey stuff down here. Yeah, they're all kind of ruined, unfortunately. But I want something like this. Maybe this. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I could work with that. What if that's like down here? No, I don't like that at all. I'll figure it out. I might just use map markers instead of like these things. Ooh, actually. I don't know, it pops a little bit too much against the backdrop, you know what I mean? It doesn't blend. Yeah, I've got ones that you can color. So maybe something like that. And I can just I can gray it out. Because let's see. Land, color. You can filter what you. Yeah. You can filter what you color over here. Anyway, so there's that. Yes, I've been using this program for quite a while. It costs like $20 or $30. It's not that much. I got it a long time ago when I first started DMing, and it is powerful. Okay, let's see about this. Ooh, I definitely want like this undersea palace kind of thing off of the coast, because that's going to be important. Oh, I definitely want that to be like... Why is it doing that? Nope. Don't do that. Let's see. Reset curve. What is the actual one? Oh, okay, yeah, this will work. This will work. Put that there. Okay, that's going to be important. So let's keep scrolling down. And then we've got a bunch of like compass roses here. All right, Jen. Have a good lurk, sir. I don't know how much longer I will probably be here, to be honest, but we got a cool compass rose. But thanks for coming, and hope you have a good lurk, sir. So yeah, we got a bunch of cool stuff here, and we could have like a shipwreck, a cool shipwreck somewhere, you know, like a cool shipwreck island over here, you know. Where's the colored version of that? Shipwreck Island. Shipwreck Island. How did a ship get there? Who knows? It's a mystery. Okay, so I got like bamboo patches and stuff too, but then I should have somewhere trees, like jungle trees and stuff that I can start to fill in the map with. And I have like cliffs and promontories and things like that I could use. So I have a lot of options here, and we're not going to do all of this time, but yeah, I got a shipwreck right here. Yeah, what about it? Oh yeah, for sure, 100%. Okay, let's fill out the volcano zones. Let's fill out those a little bit. So we're gonna go over here. We'll just kind of make a little like connecting zones, and then maybe some of them are gonna be just off on their own. Like, I know that this isn't necessarily how mountains work, but you know, we're just having fun with it, playing around. Some bigger ones, you know. And then we'll make them smaller. Small zone around here. Craggy. Cave in the west volcano zone that comes out in the east volcano. Okay, we can do that. We're gonna do like a whole mountainous area over here. It's gonna make it harder to travel. We can definitely do that. Let's see here. Cave. I don't have that here in the mountains. Let's look over here. Can't remember where that cave was that we used earlier, but it was cool. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. Tunnel system for sure. Or there could be some, like, yeah, funky stuff going on in the island, too. I know it was above the pirate stuff. Give me a second. We could have, like, some fissures in the earth over here. Some pits. Giant pits and things in the earth. So yeah, like a little cave here that then comes out over here somewhere. Where's the... Okay. Ooh, tunnels. Little tunnels. Okay. Now, what do you think? Should I make some like cheeky little sky islands somewhere? What do you think about that? Yeah, and all of this is kind of like first draft territory. Okay, let's get some jungle trees up in here. Yes to the sky islands. Okay. I gotta have some jungle trees somewhere, right? I do, kinda. But But they're not all going to be palm trees, right? What's this stuff? I don't know that I've seen that before. Sky Islands on the storm beach. That is good stuff. Okay, let's see here. So we're gonna, yeah, this is good. We're gonna up the placement density. Gonna make ourselves a little forest here. And not all of the jungle will be this dense, but I'm gonna make it pretty dense over here. Pretty dense over here. And I'll fill this out more, but I just want to get an idea of what we're doing, you know. Dense jungle. It's got to be denser the deeper in you get, but like over here where the PCs are going to kind of land, it maybe just be like a little sparser, and I'll do that in a minute. But definitely some dense jungle over here. So yeah, that'll be what the jungle's kind of looking like, which I'm chill with that. I'm actually enjoying that. And then let's see here. So I got some cheeky little sky islands over here. We won't have that many. Let's make a couple big ones. Yeah, a big one. And then maybe like some smaller ones around them. I don't know the answer to that. It may just be the stuff I'm playing. And we can make some, it's gonna be like stormy waves over here. It's not. The seas around here are much more choppy than like in the southern hemisphere of the island. Look at that. What do you guys think of that? So I can, I'll color those in a minute. Those are just like some clouds around the skyline. And actually, I should be able to bring this forward. Yeah. Let's actually do a little bit of coloration here. This should be under mountains. Yeah, there we go. The clouds are also under mountains. Okay, interesting. Oh yeah, that is the save sound. No, I actually do want those to be pretty dark clouds, to be honest. What color do I need to make the sky islands? I kind of just want them to be like that because this whole area is supposed to be like stormy. You know what I mean? There's supposed to be some pretty bad storms up in here. What clouds was I just using for all that? Doesn't really look good when they're big like that. Okay. Unfortunately, I can't really like draw on this to make like fog and stuff like that up over here. What I do want to do I want to go over here. For my volcanoes, there was a smoke icon that was somewhere in here. I know it was this stuff. Yeah, it's this smoke icon. Oop, nope, stop that. Oh, come on. Move that up a level. Okay. Nope, wrong one. Y'all feeling me? Okay, I'll change the layer on that in a minute. Picking up what I'm laying down here? Yes. Yes. That's the stuff. That's the stuff. Okay. And actually, if I really want to get cheeky here, let's go to water. Make some lakes, quote unquote. Okay, you see those right there, right? And maybe some cheeky rivers. I'm going to change the width to be pretty small. Should be able to change the color of the water here. Nope. Do that. Don't do that. Trying to remember how I did this before. There's a way that I made this like actually look like lava. Can't remember how I did it. It looks a little like lava, but anyway, you get the idea. I'll figure that out later. Okay. So, got our three main regions here. I wonder if there's some stuff here that could kind of look like clouds. No, not really. Those are meant to look like trees. I just want to make this whole area like, you know, I just want to make it all stormy. But I guess my players will just have to like imagine it, basically. Put a few cheeky little sea monsters. It's not that kind of map. Here there be monsters. These are some nicer compass roses, actually. kind of like this one, but it's mirrored. How would I see it? Let's just delete that, actually. Go back here. We'll do a normal compass rose. I think we are in a pretty good place here, where I may just have to, I'm probably just going to have to work on more of this myself, but I appreciate all the input and such. I think this was pretty fun. If you guys think that this is something that I should do again, then I definitely will. And I'm gonna have to figure this out, because I know at one point I was able to make it make it look like real lava, but I'll figure that out later. And then maybe I'll post the finished version up on my Twitter or my Instagram or something, or maybe I'll work on it again on stream. We'll see. Anyway, I have some family stuff I need to get to tonight, so we're going to probably call this a stream. Once again, you guys will probably hear more about how the map goes, and I'll see if I can post it somewhere when it's done. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me, and hopefully I'll do stuff like this again soon. It seemed like my hand cam worked out okay earlier, so I'll probably be doing more like writing content as well, hopefully. If people are open to that, and then we'll just see where it goes from there. Anyway, I believe that the dawn is coming, which means that I and my cafe will be disappearing. However, we will return again when night covers the world and a little bit of light is needed. Until then, my friends and my dear little embers, God bless. Have a wonderful rest of your days, and I will see you guys later. Bye, everybody. God bless.